Hi, I'm Cherie. I'm from Hull Libraries and I run some of the craft activities there. I also work at the Big Malarkey in the Make It Take It tent. During lockdown, I've been very lucky to be able to help at the Animal Education Centre working with the animals. So I decided for a craft today we'd make some sock puppets based on some of the animals there. So for the sock puppets we've got an emu, an alpaca and a goat. For the emu you will need an old sock, some wool, a couple of buttons, some white felt paper or card, some plain paper or card, black paint and glue. You can either use a PVA glue or a glue gun. So the first thing we need to do is make the emu's beak. So draw a big triangle. It needs to be quite wide at the end. It doesn't have to be perfect either, and cut it out. And then we need a second triangle the same size, so just draw around the one you've already made and cut that one out. Then one of these is going to be the top part of the beak. So if you fold it in half and then just cut two small semicircles out the top. So it looks like this. Now both of these then need to be painted black because the emu's beak is quite dark. So put the beak to one side to dry, and while the paint's drying we'll start getting the emu's hair ready. So take your wool and without doing it too tight, wrap it around your fingers 20 times. And then snip it off and snip a little bit to tie it. So tie it in the middle and double knot it so it stays nice and secure. And then snip it open so you've got pieces like this, and you need to make about 15 of these. Then with your white felt or card you need to do two big circles. So if you find something to draw around and draw around it and cut it out. Then have two circles ready for the eyes. Right, then with your circles, if you want to stick your buttons on, we have then two emu eyes. And remember, if you're using any other kind of glue, is you have to press and hold until it sticks. Then with your sock, if you put your sock on your hand and making sure the heel's at your knuckles and just pushing the rest, this is the base of your sock puppet. If you're using hot glue, do not glue directly onto it because you will burn your fingers. So with your sock puppet in this position ready, if you lay it down, you can then glue on your top beak. The top beak needs this bit pointing to the centre. Then fold it so it sticks down like a beak. Turn your sock over. And then stick your bottom one underneath to match. Remembering, if you're using any other kind of glue to hold it till it sticks, it might take a few moments. And then you have your beak. So once your beak's dried, it's time to put the eyes on. So each eye wants to go just above the top of the beak here. So if you glue them on, remember, if you're using hot glue, to be careful, and if you're using other glue, to hold it till it sticks. and give them time to dry. And then for the fun part, giving it a hairstyle. So you've got your little bird looking thing, you put it down, and then it's time to attach all the hair. So you get a nice fluffy one like this. So in the middle of where your knot is on each bit of wool, if you put a bit of glue on, and then start sticking it onto your puppet. So you've got a mop of hair. Don't forget every so often to put the puppet on your hand and check how your hair's going, so you can put the hair where you want it to give it a nice hairstyle. And once you've stuck all your hair on, now emus have these nostrils halfway down, so carefully with a pencil, just put in 2 holes either side, and there you have your emu, which is the second largest bird and can grow up to 2 metres tall. So to make an alpaca, what you'll need is a sock, some wool, some black wool, 2 buttons, either white felt or paper, and some yellow felt or paper. First, to make the ears, you need to draw an ear shape on your white felt or paper, leaving it straight at the bottom. And if you cut that one out, and then draw around it to get one of the same size and shape, and cut that one out as well. Then if you put a little bit of glue on the bottom edge and fold it over, you get an ear shape. Once you've made the ears while they're drying, you want to get the hair ready. So again, like we did with the emu, is if you wrap the wool around your hand 20 times, and snip it and give yourself a bit to tie it again in the middle, and knot it well so it doesn't come undone. Snip it at the end so you've got pieces like this, and you want about 10 pieces like this. Then with your black wool, you need a piece about 2 inches long, then a piece about 1/2 inch long, and then a piece about 1 inch long. Now it's time to start putting it all together. So if you get your sock ready first by putting your sock on your hand and making sure the heel of the sock is on your knuckles, and then push in the middle bit to give you your first shape. Then lay your sock down and it's time to stick things on. So the first thing to stick on is your 2 eyes at the top. Remembering if you're using PVA to hold them on until they're dry. And then with the long bit of black wool, stick that across the top opening. If it's a bit too long, just give it a trim. Your little bit of string goes up the middle, the smallest piece. And then the medium bit goes across in a half circle to make the nose. And again, if it's a little bit long, just trim it. And then put that all to one side to dry. And then it should look like this. You take it back off your hand, it's time for the ears. So the ears go either side of where your knuckles are. So you stick them on. Holding them till they set. So now your alpaca looks like this. And here's the fun part, it's time to stick on the hair. So again, you just got to remember with alpacas, they have this lovely big fringe. So when you stick your bits on, start from just above the eyes. So stick on all your bits and check every so often by putting it on your hand that your hair's going where you want it, until you've got all the area covered around the ears and above the eyes. So now you've got an alpaca with a lot of hair, so we just need to do its little front teeth. So of yellow paper, just cut a small square and stick that on the bottom there, just in the middle, just underneath its mouth. Because when you see alpacas eat, you can always see the bottom teeth. And now it's time to give it a haircut to smarten it all up, because they are quite smart. So carefully, start snipping your wool to make it all nice and level. Or in whatever hairstyle you want. And here we have our alpaca, who the real alpaca's hair, which is a wool, is actually fire resistant, water resistant and hypoallergenic. And for the last puppet, we're going to make the pygmy goat. So for the pygmy goat, we will need a sock, some wool, 2 orange buttons, but if you haven't got orange buttons, you can just cut out some bits of paper and colour them in orange. Some white, pink card or felt, some black card or felt, and some normal card. You also need white, pink and black paint or pens. So first we'll make the horns. So draw your first horn shape out on your card and cut it out. Then flip it over. So there's your horn. So then flip it over and draw around it back onto your card so you've got the identical piece but the opposite way around. And cut that out. So then you've got 2 opposite horns. Then either paint them or colour them in a nice horn colour. I'm colouring them in a nice grey. So if you paint them and then put them to one side to dry. Next we'll make the ears, so get either your black paper or felt and draw a nice ear shape. Once you're happy with your ear shape, cut it out. Draw around it so you've got another identical one and cut that out as well. So then you'll have 2 identical ear shapes. Slightly fold them at the bottom and give them a pinch. Put a little bit of glue on. Fold them together to give you that nice rounded ear shape and put them to one side to dry. So next we're going to make the nose. So basically you want to draw like a small orange segment. Or it could look like a bit of a bean, just like that, and then cut it out. Right, now goats can have lots of different coloured noses. They can have pink noses, black noses. So if the paper or felt you've cut it on isn't the right colour, now's the perfect time to paint it. And I'm going to have a pink nose. So next we're going to make our goat's little goatee. So very similar to what we did before, is wrap the wool around your hands, but this time you only have to wrap it around about 10 times. Then again, cut a bit so you can tie it, and tie it in the middle. Now you only need one of these because obviously a goat's only got a little goatee. Knot it well, and then trim it, and that's ready as well. So next we've got to make the goat eyes. So you've got either the orange circles or orange buttons. But now goats have these amazing bright eyes, but they've got a big black pupil in the middle. So you can either with pen or with paint draw on your pupil. Now, unlike a human, it's not straight, it's like a big oval that takes up most of the centre of your eye. So that's how your eye wants to look. Now it's time to put our goat together. So like before, put the sock on your hand with the heel to your knuckles and poke it in. So you've got the basis of your goat. Take it off and it's time to start sticking bits on. So the first thing to stick on is the horns. So the horns want to go at the bottom of the heel. Make sure you do it so it's pointing out on either side. So it should look like this. Then just underneath your horns, you stick your eyes. Now remembering the pupils actually go across, so you should have then, you go with your eyes. Now it's time for the ears, and the ears get stuck just to the side of the horns but poking out, whereas the alpaca's ears went up, the goat's ears go out. So then your puppet should look like this. Then in the centre here, put a little bit of glue and stick your nose on. That's then with your bit of wool. Now this time fold it in half, put your glue where you've tied it, and that just sticks underneath on the bottom part of your sock on its chin. So now your goat looks like this. So now some goats have white markings, so if you want and you have white paint, you can put some nice white markings on. Now you can do this while it's on your hand, it will just take a while to dry. So then trim up your goatee just how you'd like it. I'm going to have a little goatee on this one. Squeeze it together, you could plait it and all sorts, and there you go, you have a pygmy goat. An interesting fact about pygmy goats is they're originally from West Africa, and also they work like a tree. So pygmy goats don't lose the horns. So if you counted all the rings on the horn, it will tell you how old the goat is. So I hope you've enjoyed watching and this has inspired you to make some of the puppets you've seen or make some of your own by the animals that you see at East Park. Please remember, these are your puppets, you can make them whatever colour you want, you can put bows on them, have fun, give them names, let them talk. Bye bye!